What's going on, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner, and this is Math Time with Mr. G. Today we're just going to analyze the line of best fit. That just means we're looking at the line of best fit and how good of a line is it. So a couple vocab things. A trend line is just the line of best fit. It's just how some textbooks that are a little bit older might reference it. The next one is correlation. Correlation says, what is the percent likelihood that we predict correctly? So if I say you have a shoe size of 9, so you must be 5 feet tall, what is the likelihood that I'm right? Another way that correlation can be used is to say, does one cause the other? So for example, my shoe size, does that dictate how tall I am? Well, for the most part, yes. But another thing that could be is number of people who went to go buy shoes that day and number of earthquakes that happened that day. One doesn't cause the other there. So correlation is, does one cause the other? And if so, by what percentage? So my correlation coefficient is going to be the letter R. R for correlation because C is taken already in another algebraic term. R is just what's the percent. And then the last thing is R can be both positive and negative. And positive and negative doesn't mean that it's a positive outcome or a negative outcome. It just means that the trend line for this one is going up. So the bigger your shoe is, the taller you are. And another one is going down. The more hours I work out, the less I weigh. So what's a strong correlation coefficient? That would mean that R is greater than or equal to 0.8. That means that 80% of the time when I predict your height, I'm right or better. So anything that's 80% or better we consider strong. Weak is between 5 and 8, which means that if I guess it 50% of the time correctly, that's okay, to 80%. Anywhere in that range is weak, and I had an okay time correlating. No association is when R is less than 0.5. So less than 50% of the time I guess, and I guess wrong. So that's a no association. So let's say I had a graph that looks like this. That's pretty strong. The x's are close to the line, and I could predict most people. So let's say that this is 0.85. I'm going to say that this is strong and positive. So it's going to be a positive 0.85. Let's say my graph looks like this. 98% of the time I can correctly guess how many hours you've worked out to what your weight is. And this is going down, so I'm going to say negative. So my trend line or my line of best fit goes through. Not a whole lot of my x's are getting close to it. So I'm going to say that this is 84%. Well, Mr. Gardner, where do you keep getting these numbers? Well, I'm going to plug these into my calculator, the different points, and they will tell me. For right now, in our algebra skills, I'm going to give you this R, and you just need to tell me if that's strong or weak. So we would say that this is weak and positive. Trend line goes through, and it almost hits nothing. And I'm going to tell you that it's 0.14. So because it's so low, we're going to say that this has no association. I can almost never guess correctly. All right, if you guys have any questions, hit me up in the comments section. But other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.